My name is Ajuan Mance, and I'm an artist, an illustrator, and a comic creator. And I want to share a couple of comics that represent the intersecting parts of my life as an African American genderqueer nerd. The first comic is To the Ones Who Lit the Way. The Ones Who Lit the Way is a dedication to the gender role models that I encountered as a young person. Looking back, I think about all of the ways that in really unexpected places, encountered people who really kind of affirmed the possibility of inventing gender in the way that I really needed to. And so I just wanted to give a tribute to those folks in the form of a comic. And so this is The Ones Who Lit the Way, and my name is Ajuan Mance. When you're living beyond the gender binary, sometimes the way forward can feel a little bit murky. While the people around you seem to tread more or less comfortably around the well-worn, well-lit paths of tradition and conformity, your way through life is not quite as clear. Perhaps you're on the same stretch of road, but moving in opposite directions. Or maybe you're leaping over places where folks with more traditional identities prefer to linger. Or you're pleasantly attached to those places on the path most folks would rather avoid. Mostly, though, you're on your own. Now what? It's like living in one of those fairy tales in which the heroes find themselves lost in the forest, at the place where the trails disappeared and the trees have grown so thickly overhead that even daytime feels like night. You know you've got to get somewhere, but you're not sure exactly where you're headed or when you'll arrive. Anyone know how to use a compass? Then someone comes along and sheds enough light to help you a little farther down your path. And with every few steps, you feel more like yourself than you've ever felt before. Hey, you ever think of trying out for JV girls soccer? So here's a toast to some of the people who've lit my path along the way by refusing to be anything but who they are, even in the most unexpected places. I raise a carton of 2% milk to the girl jocks of Hudson Valley High. When I started at Hudson, 8 years after Title IX, athletes were still regarded as a curiosity, and playing sports was often perceived as a form of gender rebellion. There's Allie Mason. She's like a total man. Eat my Y-front, Sprinkmeyer. I raise a frozen chocolate dessert to the queer managers of a certain Nashville area fast food store. I spent the summer of '86 there as a drive-through cashier. I was so busy hating my job that it took me a while to notice how many of the managers were queer butch women. Where's the beef? The owner, Big Ed, was a local real estate mogul who'd cultivated the style and manner of a retired Confederate general. You want him to practically hear that smile of yours. If Big Ed's fashion sensibilities tended toward the antebellum, his gender sensibilities apparently did not. His bond with the butches on staff felt genuine, and it messed with my assumptions about gender, the South, and straight allyship in all sorts of ways, and in the last place I would have expected. Admit it, you love me because I give you the most shit. For this next toast, I'm going to require something a little stronger. I raise a Pim's cup to the cast of the movie Chariots of Fire. Set during the 1920s on the campus of Cambridge University, the film might seem a world apart from the life of a Black high school kid in the 1980s. But the main character, a brainy, sincere Jewish kid among old money Anglicans, struck a chord with me, the only African American student in the honors track at a school that was less than 1% Black. He was smart and athletic, ambitious, genteel, and impeccably dressed, the kind of gentleman scholar I wanted to be when I grew up, except Black and not British. Fitzwilliam College cricket vest, where have you been all my life? For my very last toast, I raise a dry Hendrix martini to the queer Black nerd in the mirror. You, my friend, are a silver fox. Even as a kid, I was a bit of a curmudgeon. Of course you're wearing it wrong. Why would anyone make a shirt that's supposed to look like it's inside out? But the tag is on the inside. Now, I finally look like one. And I have another short comic. It's just a handful of panels. It's called Ghosts of the Apollo. And I'll share that too. On the night that Manhattan's theaters went dark, the performers of the past returned to their favorite venues to catch up, reminisce, and check out how things have changed. At Harlem's Apollo Theater, Duke Ellington and Prince admired the view from on stage. This is the only theater where the audience always made me feel like a king. A king? Seriously? Fats Waller and Louis Armstrong poked around backstage. One time, I stashed a bag of pork rinds in a first floor dressing room. You think it's still there? Let's hope not. Josephine Baker and Celia Cruz admired each other. Your feathers are fabulous. Mahalia Jackson and Aretha Franklin hung out in the balcony and talked politics. So you're saying we actually had a Black president? Sister, I sang at his inauguration. You should have seen my hat.